Dayan visits Bidna, but when she sees him, her heartbeat accelerates, and she faints. Dayan takes her to the hospital. Later her assistant Mondo and Gremory join them. Bidna wakes up and is diagnosed with severe stress. She thinks that she definitely fell in love with Dayan. She returns home, and he shocks her that he moved recently to the apartment next to her. He thinks over the previous cases, and the crime scenes have been cleaned up, and the only evidence left behind are the drink cans, Bidna's favorite drink. Meanwhile, Bidna tasks her assistant Mondo to discover everything about Bidna human life. She meets Gremory, who tells her that a group of demons meet regularly, are rumbling about hunting down Satan who escaped from hell, stealing the Kylum, which grant the eternal life to its user, and the person who catches the Satan, sending him to Baal, director of hell, will be handsomely rewarded. Gremory and Bidna go to meet with the group of demons, and Mondo joins them. Meanwhile Dayan follows them. He storms in, and one of Demon's son Ho wants to kill him. Bidna claims that he is her driver, and is called Poppy. It's revealed the group of demons is disguised as chefs, and uses their superpowers to make delicious food. Dayan ends up seeing one of Demon's son Ho crying while he's serving an old man. Feelings for demons are offense, and could even result to death. He makes a deal with Dayan not to tell anyone about his crying, and in return, he will keep Dayan's secret, because he knows that Dayan is a human. Bidna has an interesting murder case, where a man killed his family members, is called Seungbin. It seemed he has multiple personality disorder. The first is Seungbin, who doesn't remember that he committed the murder, and the second is Kim Soyeol, who is a 5th grade student, and the third is Koo Dawan, who admits that he is the killer. The chiefs believe him. Meanwhile Dayan is convinced he is the killer, and should be punished. He keeps remembering his dead parents' scene, and the killer is in the kitchen. In the courtroom, Dayan is taking the control, and try to take down the lawyer. Meanwhile Bidna watches with a smirk on her face. After, she composes herself, and decides that a full psychiatric evaluation will need to be undertaken, and the results of that will eventually decide if he is put to death or not. That night at the hospital, Bidna shows up disguised as a nurse. After taking out the guards, she decides to do her physical therapy. Her eyes glow purple, and she conjures a knife. Dayan happens to be waiting under the bed and grabs her ankle.